Welcome to a Dark Window Rex video tutorial. Today we're going to create a basic FM patch using the Yamaha REFACE DX. I will make another video soon that will go a bit more in-depth into FM synthesis, but for today we're going to create something nice and basic, and if you have a REFACE DX this might be a handy video for you to follow along with, as it will be quite basic. The first thing you want to do is create yourself a blank patch. So I'm going to go into bank 3, patch 7, and I'll press function. And I'll go to the page that says job, press voice init or voice initialize. Are we sure? Yes. And then we have ourselves a blank patch. I press edit usually because that locks me into the edit mode. In case I accidentally press one of these other buttons, it won't jump out onto another patch. And for today, we're going to be looking at these 4 buttons here: frequency, level, algo or algorithms, and FB or feedback. The first section we're going to look at is algorithms. Here we can see 12 different algorithms, and they are ways in which the operators are connected to each other. There are 2 kinds of operators: the squares, which are carriers, they are the ones that produce the tone, and then there are the circles, which are the modulators. These modulate the carriers. If we go to algorithm 8, we can see that there are 2 carriers with their own independent modulators. This is the algorithm that we're going to concentrate on today. For this tutorial, I'm only going to use carrier 1 and modulator 2, so just these 2, not these 2. And the next section I'm going to go into is level. This is where we can adjust the levels for both the carriers and the modulators. Here we can see that carrier 1 is set to 100. So if I press a key, all we can hear at the moment is carrier 1. I will come back to this section, but next we're going to go to frequency. This is where we can adjust the pitch or the frequency for the carriers and the frequency for the modulators. So if I hold down the key and change the frequency for carrier 1, we'll hear this. If I change the frequency for the modulator, we won't hear anything at the moment because we need to turn the level up. So I'm going to go back to level. Now I'm going to hold down a key and turn up the level for the modulator, and you'll hear the modulator start to modulate the carrier. I'll now go back into frequency and hold down the key and change the frequency for the modulator. The last section we're going to look at is FB or feedback. This is where we can send the feedback from either the carrier or the modulator back into itself to create even more modulation. On the REFACE DX, we can change the feedback waveform shape into either a sawtooth or a square wave. The more we go up, the more of a sawtooth the waveform becomes, and if we go down, the more a square wave it becomes. So if I reset carrier 1's feedback to 0, so there's no feedback at all, and press a key, we can hear that there's no feedback. But if I start to apply some feedback in the waveform shape of a sawtooth, we'll hear this. And if I go the opposite way, starting from 0 again, and turn the feedback waveform shape into a square, we'll hear this. I'm just going to bring that down a couple of octaves. And now I'm going to change the feedback for the modulator, and I'll go up again, so that will change it into a sawtooth waveform shape. If I go down, it will change the waveform shape of the feedback into a square. And I'm quite happy with that sound. So I'm going to leave it as it is, and now I'm going to store it. So I press store. If I want to give it a name, I'll just give it a name. You can go through the letters and numbers there. And then press store. And store again. Are you sure? Yes. And it's done. And there's my patch. I hope that this video has helped some of those out there better understand the basics of FM synthesis, and if you have any questions then please ask. And always remember to just mess about and experiment with whatever sounds you can get by altering the frequencies, the levels, the feedback, and of course the algorithms as well. Thank you for watching.